Hello, welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz. I will be guiding you on this journey today. I'm going back to like intro videos. So I'll put the timestamp in the description if you want to just, skip that and go right to the reading, or skip this part and go right to the reading. Because I just cannot repeat myself 12 times. And especially if there actually is something that I want to say, like at the beginning of every single video, my body refuses to allow that. So anyway, yeah. Now I'm like, what was I going to say? I have the zodiac sign readings all finished for like what was mastered in 2025, what's unfolding in 2026. So definitely check those out. I was going to do those for the human design readings, but I actually feel complete with those. So I'm not going to do that. We're just going to start, with the like human design readings. Just keep it pushing, keep it moving forward. I guess it would be kind of ish for January. I don't necessarily do like monthly readings, but whenever you're seeing this, that's when it is for, What else? I do have a special or like a new offering. It's 333 reading. It's $3.33. It's a 2-card pull. The first card is the door, or like the obstacle, the opportunity, the thing that you are coming up to. And then the other card, the second card, is the key, which is advice, or what's on the other side of that, or what, kind of what's the purpose even maybe of that. It is a written reading. So, I shuffle the cards with your energy in mind. And then I will send you, of course, a picture of the cards, and then I'll send you just a written thing of what comes through for me with each card. So it's definitely a general reading, but you would Venmo me $3.33, and in the Venmo like description, you would include your email address. And then my intention is to get the reading back to you within 24 to 48 hours. It's not going to take that long most times. But that just gives me a good buffer if for some random reason it does take me that long. Like, I don't know, but yeah. And of course, if you make if you make that transaction or whatever, like private, then nobody else will see your email address. Just me. So hopefully that makes sense. There will be an explanation of that in the description as well. And yeah, I think that's it, right? That's really the only thing that I would really actually want to say in every single reading. I keep having this feeling like I just want to use like some cards that have like words on them. I mean, of course there's, words like on the regular tarot too, right? It's like the name of the card, but I don't know. We're going to use the time oracle cards, I think. If you open your reading and it's not, I don't have this deck in there, it's because it didn't go the way that I thought it was going to go. And anyway, okay. I think that's it. Let's get into the readings. Great. So this is the reading for the 4/6 human design profile, the opportunist role model. If you don't know what your human design profile is, there is a link in the description for you to get your human design body graph, and your profile will be listed on there. Definitely be sure to check out your zodiac sign readings as well. Those are all ready to go. They're out there. But like not every 4/6 is a Virgo or a Aquarius, whatever. We have the Six of Wands, we have the Ace of Swords, and I was like kind of chuckling because I'm pretty sure the Ace of Swords like flipped over as well. But I don't take the cards that flip. We want commitment over here. So they do have to actually fall all the way out. Like that. Interesting. Okay, so the Six of Wands, the Ace of Swords, and the Moon card. I haven't seen the Moon card in so long. I feel like the Moon card like rarely comes out in readings. All things to allow things to come. Interesting. I said all things to come. One more. When you least expect it. I was also like, I was halfway thinking, I'm like, maybe I don't really need a second card. I mean, I feel like this, when you least expect it, is like kind of perfect next to the Moon card. Because also, like, when the Moon comes out at the end of the reading, which I feel like it usually does come out in the middle or at the end of like most readings. I was trying to think if it ever came out in the middle. I rarely see it at the beginning. But it's almost like, it kind of gives me this feeling of like, what's next isn't the point, or like focus on this and don't worry about like what's over here type of thing. Also though too, like there could be like a big breakthrough happening here that would have something to do with like your subconscious, the way that you perceive things, even the way that you allow yourself to be seen, or even like how you allow yourself to be perceived at that. Because who loves being perceived? I know that those people are out there. I just cannot imagine what that feels like, but yeah, I mean, like the Six of Wands here, I mean, there's success with the Six of Wands. There's recognition, victory. It's also, it's victory after conflict, because of course it comes after the Five of Wands. And also though too, like I see the Five of Wands as being like conditioning, conditioning in the sense of like training, and I always use the Mulan reference for the Five of Wands. I know we don't have it out here, of course, but in Mulan, they all show up to warrior training, and it's a shit show, right? Like there's a lot of competition, a lot of ego, arrogance, right? Like people aren't really working together. They're trying to prove themselves, whatever. And then it's like from being in proximity and, training, right? Like they learn to work together. And the whole point of that is to set them up to be successful in battle. And like the successful through battle thing is the Six of Wands. So if you have been in a period where, you've been focusing a lot of attention, a lot of energy, even just being like motivated by, a specific thing, there is this I almost said completion, but there is this, yeah, I mean, maybe culmination. It's, something about it like paying off. Maybe even being recognized for it. I mean, it certainly could be a promotion, being, just lifted up in some capacity. I mean, truly, it's like, I mean, we can see that there's like all these hands out here. They're standing in front of an audience. So, there's even like support from others, like others recognizing your efforts and rewarding you for that. And also, I mean, like that could come because like there was some sort of shift. I don't know what I was trying to say. Mindset shift, maybe. I was having a hard time getting it out there. And there's another crow. Let's see, because I just looked it up. You would think that I would remember, but I never do. Transformation, mystery, change, and messages. They're messengers between worlds, bringing wisdom. Signify intelligence, adaptability, knowledge of hidden truths, which is literally the Ace of Swords and the Moon card. Often appear at points of significant transformation or to guide you through difficult times, embodying both darkness, parentheses, or mystery is in parentheses, and light. And insight is in parentheses, which is the Ace of Swords would be insight. This may also even be like, not blocking yourself from opportunity or not blocking yourself from being recognized or from even like putting yourself out there. Because I was looking at this, allow things to come. And again, like I'm just getting this feeling about not blocking opportunities or also too, like even believing that you're worthy of the opportunity, that you have the energy, you have the skill, the wisdom. You clearly do. It could, of course, be a shift in your mindset, like having to think about things differently, because of course the Ace of Swords is new ideas, new perspective, truth though too, because it's divine truth and honesty, intellect. It's like it's starting to or reconnecting with your own truth and realizing that you're fucking smart. You know a lot of shit, You've done harder things. Maybe you're not getting the recognition that you believe you deserve, and you absolutely do. So with this card, it's again, it's like thinking of things differently. And maybe it's even having to do some work on your subconscious, like those stories, or, Brene Brown calls them the gremlins, right? Like what are the things that are coming up for you that live in the depths of your perspective, your ego? There's of course it's the Moon card. This is Cancer. I think some people associate it to Pisces, but I mean, literally Cancer is ruled by the moon. There's a full moon there's a Cancer full moon actually on Saturday, January 3rd. So, there could be some sort of like aha moment around that time. There could be some sort of intention that you set to really like allow yourself to put yourself out there, and even just be open to like receiving an opportunity, like even with this, when you least expect it. Which is honestly probably better. Like, like if you can see it coming, then you can start judging it. You can start, trying to like finagle or, try to start like strategizing and shit, freaking out, like that's kind of when those gremlins get a little bit louder too. Like, oh, that's not what we wanted, or that's not the package that we expected it in, or whatever. Instead of, like an opportunity just kind of like showing up out of the blue because you were open to it, right? Like because you even just turned on, metaphorically, of course, like you just kind of switched on your little beacon, you know, started putting energetic feelers out there in whatever capacity, whether, it's for a relationship or a job, or, just a different routine, or even too, like, understanding some sort of like depth of yourself, even like understanding where any type of like hesitations or expectations, or the things that you do believe to be true, right? Because even like with the moon card, it's depth. Also, this saying keeps like kind of showing up around, go deeper, not wider. Like most of the things that we do, most of the things that we think of, the perspectives that we have, the beliefs that we have, the truths that we have, can all be traced back to a feeling, a familiar thing. We don't necessarily need to think of like every single thing that happened that reinforced that belief. We just have to like hone in on what that belief is, what that truth is. So instead of like, panning around and looking wider at what's happening, it's like really diving into the depth of what that truth fucking is. Like, what is the root of that thing that has like created all these branches, that all these, limiting beliefs and all of these routines and behaviors and patterns and shit can be like traced back to. Like, instead of just picking off leaves from the branches, or instead of just like cutting down one branch at a time or something, it's like just going to the roots. Also interesting too, right? Because now I'm looking at the trees outside, and I'm looking at like, the plants in here. And usually when the health of a plant starts to change, right? Like the leaves start dying or turning yellow, or you start kind of noticing even curling, right? I'm like looking at some of my plants, and I'm the leaves are curling, or some of them are turning yellow, or they have spots on them, or something like that. The first advice that you will get is what's going on with the roots. People don't necessarily tell you to inspect the leaves closer. They might be like, check for pests, right? Like, just look it over, see if you see any webbing or any, like tiny little bugs crawling on it. But otherwise, if there's something not obvious, you go to the roots. What's happening there? This moon card feels like the roots. This Six of Wands and the Ace of Swords almost kind of feel like the leaves of it. And maybe, this whole like shift will happen too, like when you least expect it. Like, maybe there will be some sort of recognition, some sort of something, that'll like shift a mindset. And also, even like with this moon card, and I was saying with it like showing up at the end of the reading, it's almost kind of like what happens on the other side, or like what happens next isn't the point. Like the focus needs to be here. And it's one of those things too of like the decisions that you make of course, right? I mean, like the decisions that literally anybody make impact what does happen next. That's why I also think that, like, tarot, it's difficult to use it for predictions because it could, predict like currently right now. But like, as an example, my last like corporate job, like when 2020 happened, I knew, I just like, I knew that I wanted to get out of there. I had wanted to get out of there for a while prior to that, but I was scared and I was, all these things. And so in 2020, because of course, just, 2020 made it easier to do this. But I started stashing cash. And I also knew that they were going to be doing layoffs and whatever. And the first round of layoffs, I volunteered for it, but, they allowed whoever wanted to volunteer for it. And I was pulling tarot cards every single day. And every single day they were positive. They were positive. They were positive. They were positive. I was hopeful. I was looking forward to it. And then all of a sudden, one day, it changed. And all of the quote unquote negative cards started coming out. The Three of Swords, the Nine of Swords, the Ten of Swords, the Seven of Swords, like the Devil card, the Death card, even, not that none of them are bad cards, right? But they're the ones that, like, before that, it was the Ten of Pentacles, the Sun, the, Ace of whatever, like, they were just more of a quote unquote yes card versus the traditional quote unquote no cards. And I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, well, maybe it's because I've been pulling cards literally every day for, I think it was weeks, right? Like they gave you a certain amount of time to put in for it. And then, of course, they were going to take a certain amount of time to make decisions. And no shit, like the next week, they sent out an email that they were only going to like be accepting the people who were basically pretty close to retirement anyway. So they were only going to be going like with those people, and that literally happened like overnight. So, you know what I mean? Like, so that's, unless you are pulling tarot every single day, to check the energies of it, every single day. And then, oh my God, I was so fucking mad that day. I called off work like for the rest of the day. I could not fucking function. I was so mad. I think that was in August or September of 2020. And then like I had a Reiki session around that time, and she gave me the mantra to ask for, or mantra, whatever, she's like, ask for a supported exit. Like, you know, which basically just means, a supported, like an opportunity to exit while also like being supported, right? Which I'm sure maybe that was obvious. I was like zoning out, looking outside, and I fucking, oh my God, for like 2 months when I was laying in bed, I would just like obsessively repeat that in my head. And one night I heard in my head, it's coming. And I was like, oh. And I shit you not, a couple weeks after that, they announced that they were demoting my position. And because they were demoting my position, there was the possibility to voluntarily, exit, or I can't remember the exact term for it, but and that there was going to be a severance package offered with it, which was pretty close, if not the same as the severance package that they were offering like the other people, is with the other layoff or whatever. So anyway, I took that shit, and my manager was so surprised too. Like, so surprised. But that was in 2021. So anyway, I'm not even sure why I can't remember why I even brought that shit up, but allow things to come. Jump on those opportunities when they do, right? Like, allow yourself to put yourself out there. Believe in yourself. Believe in your intellect. Believe in your fucking truth. Even like I said with this moon card, I mean, it literally could be. And also, don't limit yourself to what it is either, when it happens or what it is. Because again, right, I mean, we really are limited by our own imagination in both ways, whether it's not broadening our imagination big enough. Even like with meditation, sometimes, like if I am actually meditating, I'll literally imagine being in the middle of a bubble, and I'll just keep pushing that bubble out further. And my intention of that is to just be able to catch any possibility that exists within that bubble. And by me pushing it out larger, it's being more open and more receptive to something that I couldn't even imagine. But it's in there and it's possible, and I want it. But the bubble part is the fear, is the doubt, right? It's the expectation. So even by like pushing it out further, right? It is like feeling the discomfort, like even in my own body, right? Of like, ooh, there's that much more energy in it, But then it's trusting yourself. It's recognizing that you deserve any fucking opportunity that could possibly exist. You want to have a bubble big enough for that. Beautiful. All of a sudden, all the words left my brain, so I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I will talk to you soon. Bye.